Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Steve Minkler. I'm the CEO of Middlesex Community College, and I welcome all of you today to this great event to announce the Google Career Certifications in the cscu system. So I bring you welcome from all the faculty, staff, and students at Middlesex Community College. This is our main campus. We also have a satellite center in the city of Meriden that Secretary Cardona and I had a nice hand in building out together, so thank you, Secretary. It's very unusual for us to have such a distinguished panel at the college, so we're really, really happy for you to be here. And forgive me for the mask. But we welcome you here. You're a really important partnership for our students. The cscu system has 12 community colleges, 4 state universities, and an online college. We serve in the community colleges over 40,000 students in credit programs and another 10 in non-credit programs. And it's my pleasure to kick off today's event by introducing Kelly Valeries, who's the Chief Workforce Officer for the state of Connecticut. Kelly?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Steve, and thank you for the opportunity to see some really amazing programs here at Middlesex Community College. We're really excited to be able to have this event today and to share with you and showcase the launch of the Google certificates at the community colleges and provide really exciting opportunities for our students to upskill and reskill and get into really high demand jobs in IT in the state of Connecticut. It's also a really great opportunity for us to highlight the importance of short-term training programs that upskill and reskill our job seekers and students so that we can get them into these exciting careers very quickly. It's my pleasure today to be moderating this discussion, and I will first be introducing some of our keynote speakers and provide them an opportunity for opening remarks. And we'd like to start this morning with Senator Murphy.
Well, thank you very much. Unexpectedly kicking things off. You're ready. But we're always ready. You know, senators are always ready to talk. Listen, first and foremost, let me thank Governor Lamont, who has had a true vision for workforce development in this state. This is the benefit of having a governor who comes from the private sector, who has a commitment to making sure that this state is ready to grow. And we have so much going for us in this state. Workforce continues to be both a strength and a challenge because we've got the best trained, best educated, most ready to work workforce in the entire country. But we need to make sure that we're matching that readiness to work with the training programs that are compatible with the modern economy. And that's what this partnership is going to be able to allow us to do. I'm so grateful for Google's participation. I'm eager to hear more about what they're going to be able to bring to the table. And I'm hopeful that in a few weeks, we'll be able to report some pretty good news to supplement these efforts. The Build Back Better Act, which we are on the verge of passing through Congress, will invest historic amounts of money in community college workforce training, and students, increasing the maximum Pell Grant, putting money into workforce training, and importantly, dedicating $5 billion just to grow public-private partnerships with community colleges. That speaks to the kind of thing that we're doing here today and the ability to grow it. Lastly, Mr. Secretary, let me just thank you for what you have done to lead our entire education system through an incredibly turbulent time. We obviously led here in Connecticut, thanks to Governor Lamont's leadership and your leadership, showing the nation how we could open schools safely. It's been the funding that you've been instrumental in that has kept our community colleges and institutes of higher education open during this pandemic, and we're just always grateful to have you back in Connecticut. This kind of public-private partnership, really the future of higher education, something that will, I think, get a new infusion of support from the legislation that is about to move through Congress with the president's support. So thank you very much for including Senator Blumenthal and I today. We're just simply here to applaud the governor and the secretary and our friends at Google for bringing this great program to Connecticut.
Thank you very much, Senator Murphy. I'd like to now turn it over to Senator Blumenthal for his opening remarks.
Thank you. Thanks so much to Middlesex for having us. This place has many memories for those of us who have come here for commencements. I remember being out on the Great Lawn for one of the commencements when I spoke a number of years ago, and it's one of our treasures, really. Our community college system, our public education here in Connecticut is really so important. You know, we don't have gold mines. We don't have oil wells in Connecticut. We don't have the Grand Canyon. What we have is really smart people. That is our secret sauce, is our talent. And nobody knows it better than our Secretary of Education, who was installed just a couple of weeks ago to the Meriden Hall of Fame. I was there as the Secretary of Education. And it brought home to me how deep his roots are in Connecticut and in public education. Our commitment to education has to be fervent and vigorous and boundless. And that's part of the Build Back Better program, to reward states like Connecticut that are investing in its educational system so that we can build the middle class and give people the opportunity to advance. What is threatened so direly right now in our society is the sense of mobility and opportunity, the American dream. People feel they can't advance. This kind of education, particularly what we saw today, optician training and media training, two of the fastest growing areas of opportunity. And Middlesex is meeting that need head on with the encouragement and support of the governor. I join Senator Murphy in paying tribute to him. And just to be very specific, because I know the governor deals in budgets, Build Back Better, governor, means $20 billion, $20 billion for workforce development through both the Department of Education and Department of Labor. And $2 billion of it is grants to states for exactly this kind of training. Now, is it enough? No, but it's a great start. It's a transformational start, because it means the federal government is putting its money where its mouth is, and we need to do more of it. And I know if I hadn't mentioned it, Governor, you would have reminded us that we need to bring back resources to the state of Connecticut. Thank you for having us. Thanks, everyone, for being here.
Thank you very much, Senator Blumenthal. And that's very exciting news to hear, the commitment of the federal government to workforce development. I'd like now to have the pleasure to introduce, although he doesn't need any introductions, Secretary Cardona. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate your work and your leadership. It's really great to be home in Connecticut. It's really great to be home. I'm glad to be here at Middlesex. And I shared earlier in the hallway, as a 16-year-old high school student, my first college class ever was here at Middlesex Community College. Not only did I learn content, but here I learned as a first-generation college student that I gained the confidence that I have what it takes to be a college student here in these hallways. It opened the doors to college for the Cardona family. So thank you, Middlesex. I'm really honored to be here with the Senators Blumenthal and Murphy, who get it. They get it. And I'm proud that I live in a state that is being represented by both of you. Thank you for your leadership and the push that you're doing across the country. Governor, thank you for the invitation and commitment to build strong workforce development programs and open new pathways for our students. Your support of innovation, whether that's through private-public partnerships or pushing hard on ensuring that we have a robust pipeline for connecting our K-12 students through to 2- and 4-year schools to jobs. This is about meaningful employment. This is about meaningful employment. This is about Connecticut residents having the ability to be educated and provide for their families and buy a home and chase that American dream. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So, Governor and team, I applaud you and your team for that entrepreneurial push to be innovative as a state. As a Commissioner of Education, I had a first row seat to seeing how you operate. You want to push for Connecticut because you understand the potential that's here in this state, and I want to thank you publicly for that. As it was when I served in Connecticut and now as Secretary, I believe we must evolve quicker in this space. We must evolve quicker. Our colleges and career pathways must be clear and connected to the workforce needs. That takes innovation, and it also takes intentional collaboration, which is what we're seeing around the table here. As a graduate of Wilcox Technical High School, where I studied automotive for 4 years, that was last century, I know that graduating with preparation and options allow for greater success. We must evolve our system of college and career preparation quicker. And that's what you're modeling here in Connecticut. That's what I'm excited about, not only for Connecticut, but across the country. President Biden gets it too. President Biden gets it. There are billions of dollars, as Senator Blumenthal mentioned, billions of dollars in the framework intended to improve workforce preparation across the country. Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh, along with Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo and I, we get excited when we talk, and we're already planning on how we can work together to make sure that we're pushing this across the country. And knowing the passion of Commissioner of Education Russell Tucker here in Connecticut and Commissioner Bartolomeo at DOL and Josh Jabal and the governor, it looks like we're going to be taking notes from the leadership and the push that Connecticut is driving. You're taking the lead. So Connecticut, you are building back better. But we must get this right. We must ensure that middle and high school students have access to clearer pathways to college and career. We must make sure that community college, which are the backbone of our economic development, not only in Connecticut, but across the country, we need to make sure that they're nimble and innovative. And I saw that. They need to be nimble and innovative to meet the needs of the students. And then lastly, we need to make sure that we connect to our workforce partners to ensure a very clear through line between middle and high school programs, 2- and 4-year colleges, and the workforce that has jobs that are ready to be filled. That's what we need to do. That's community development, and that will lift our country. That's why we're going to continue to fight for community colleges for all, because we know the potential that's in this room if we continue to fight for it. And we know that we're fighting for students like you to have access to community college. Across the country, we know it's the backbone of our country's development. So I'm honored to be here, and I look forward to hearing from the panel about this important work here in Connecticut. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Cardona. Really appreciate those comments and the commitment to the workforce development here in Connecticut and across the nation. It's now my pleasure to introduce Ruth Parat, the CFO of Alphabet.
Thank you, and a huge thanks to Secretary Cardona, Governor Lamont, Senator Blumenthal, Senator Murphy, for all you are doing to lead workforce development. You are making such a huge difference in the lives of so many, and I'm honored to be here with you today. At Google, we have long felt that for the U.S. to have sustainable economic growth, it must be inclusive growth. We must open opportunity for everyone. And that's why we started focusing on digital skills training, and we believe that's more important now than ever. When you look at exciting jobs of today and jobs of the future, they require digital skills training. We saw that very clearly during the pandemic. 1 in 3 small, medium businesses, the backbone of the U.S. economy, said they would have failed if they did not have digital skills. Currently, there are 10 million open jobs in the U.S., but many of these require some form of digital skills training. And that's where we're really focused. We want to help people grow their skills, their careers, and open doors for them. And when we started digital skills training quite some time ago, we first focused on IT support roles. And we did that because it's one of the fastest growing job categories in the US. And we did it to bring people into Google in IT support roles. We then concluded that if we really wanted to make a difference and help, we should try and make this as a certificate, a credential, something that people could take with them. So we created the certificate program. And we then said to actually have impact, we should work across industry. We now have a consortium of 150 companies that accept the Grow with Google certificate, some fantastic companies right here in Connecticut, Emphasis, Charter Communications, really excited about having this consortium. And we then said, let's expand from the IT support. We now offer 4 certificates: data analytics, user experience, project management, as well as IT support. So these are certificates that can travel with people. You can get them in 3 to 8 months. You don't need any training prior to getting them. And that's what we're excited about. It's a door opener. What we're also excited about is that people from all communities, programs, backgrounds are coming into the program. 53% are Black, Latinx, veterans, or women. 46% come from the lowest income strata, in other words, $30,000 less in annual income. 59% have no college degree, and they're having real impact. 82% of graduates report that within 6 months they either get a new job or they get a promotion. So what we're here today to announce, I'm really excited about, is that our career certificates are now free to all community colleges and career and technical education high schools in the US. These institutions clearly play a critical role in workforce training. 44% of all US undergraduates attend community colleges. 7.5 million high school students are enrolled in career and technical education programs. And I'm particularly proud to be here in Connecticut to announce this news. We've trained 75,000 people through the Digital Skills Training Program preceding this creation of the certificate. We're excited to be announcing the certificate, expanding the certificate program. And Connecticut is the first state to offer the entire suite for certificates to all of its community colleges. We're now partnering with Connecticut state colleges and universities to bring the Google Career Certificates to the 12 community colleges in Connecticut, including Middlesex, Northwestern Community Colleges, and Capital Community Colleges. We're working with the governor to expand even further to reach across 18 CTE high schools in the state as well, also with William H. Hall and Conrad High Schools. And we intend to extend to public libraries and chambers of commerce. In total, we are working with more than 110 organizations across Connecticut, and we are really proud and excited about this. So our goal at Google is to ensure that everyone can access the training they need to have a full professional, personal career, to have the economic potential that they deserve, to open those doors. So I would like to say thank you again to the governor for paving, or should I say pushing his way through this so that we're able to be here today, and very excited to be here in Connecticut. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruth. We are very excited to have the opportunity to work with Google and have these certificates available to our students and job seekers. Next, I'd like to introduce Terence Chang, our president of the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, everyone, for being here today to support not just our institutions, but our entire state, our entire ecosystem, and we all just really relish the fact that we have your support and the vision that we're really ready to put into action and to really yield that kind of impact. So as Ruth mentioned, Connecticut is the first state in the country to do this. We're remarkably proud of that. We're so happy to be a pillar of that activity. Through the College of Technology, all of our community colleges will offer these 4 credit courses at the entire Google suite. And the courses will start in spring of 22. And folks will be able to prepare in areas such as technology, data science, and business. And that helps us to immediately meet the needs of our workforce. The Stackable Credential model, which will be both credit and non-credit, provide multiple entry and exit points and instantly will allow for job placement and career advancement. So we're still determining some cost, but ultimately, if there is any cost, we're going to work with Dr. Valeries to figure out tuition support. But the Google certificates are going to be available statewide across all 12 community college locations physically, on top of which there will also be an online component. So these multiple modalities will allow all Connecticut residents, regardless of where they are in their careers and in their lives, to have the opportunity to secure employment and to advance in the 21st century ecosystem, which we know is currently and will be even more so digital in every aspect. So we're not accepting applications yet, but if folks are interested, they can go to ct.edu/Google, because there are thousands of tech jobs that are open in Connecticut right now, and CSCU is committed and proud to help people to get into those jobs and have amazing opportunities right here in Connecticut. So all of this is truly a testament to our governor and his administration. He has an incredible laser focus on workforce development, and without that kind of focus, without that kind of push, this kind of work simply is not going to happen. So thank you, Governor, and thank you to you and your team. There are many others to thank. I want to thank Dr. Minkler and the folks here at Middlesex. They are examples of our wonderful faculty, our wonderful staff. These facilities are incredible. They're a true gem, and they do really amazing work every single day. I want to recognize the regional workforce officers, Diane Bordenaro, Eileen Pelletier, Christina Testabuzzi, our regional presidents, Rob Steinmetz, Tom Coley, Jim Lambella, and the director of our College of Technology, Karen Wasina Birch, and the faculty that have already begun the process of interweaving these certificates into their courses. So together, all of this incredible group right here, federally, from industry, and from the state, we're going to make a true difference today and for many, many tomorrows. And thank you to our senators, Senator Murphy, Senator Blumenthal. Your work at the federal level has really helped to support our system in so many ways, especially through this incredible time of crisis and challenge. And so we really are so thankful and grateful for the efforts that you've put in. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank our Secretary Cardona, for being here today. There's another public school in Connecticut that often likes to take credit for you, but I'm going to tell you that we're pretty proud to take credit for you as well. So you make CCSU and CSCU and the entire state incredibly proud. So thank you all for being here and for supporting us.
Thank you very much for those comments. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our governor for his remarks.
Well, thanks, Kelly. And Secretary Cardona, AKA Miguel, welcome home. We love having you back here. Love seeing your wife here. Special shout out to your parents if they're watching and this is their 49th anniversary right here in Connecticut. Thank you for making Miguel here and he can help. And you and I, we were on the phone every morning at 6 o'clock throughout the pandemic, doing everything we could to promote remote education, then how we could get kids safely back to school. And I want to thank you for your efforts there. Our schools are open around the state right now. I hope that's true around the country. We couldn't have done it without your amazing efforts. And sometime soon you'll be coming back to Connecticut for real. I look forward to that. And you're right. Along the way, when we were talking about how we get kids back to school, we knew how important workforce was. As Dick said, our greatest competitive advantage as a state is the quality of our workforce. And we got to do everything we can to make sure we are the best, competing not just with our fellow states, but competing around the world. And digital literacy is just absolutely important to that. You did auto mechanics, I learned French as a second language. That was kind of handy, sort of. But I got to tell you, digital literacy is what I really look forward to hearing the students say, how important that is to wherever you go going forward. Be it in healthcare, fintech, financial services, insurance, manufacturing. These IT skills are just vital to our future, and I want you to stay right here. And to my friend Ruth Parat and Google, I got to tell you how much I personally appreciate you making a special effort. The Connecticut is the very first state in the country to have this universally available across all of our community colleges. And you mentioned there's, I think you said 150 companies affiliated with where you've got a job. You graduate with one of these certificates, you've got a job because you're that necessary. I'd like to add one more company to that list. That's the state of Connecticut, Ruth.
Done.
Make that 151. It's not as round a number, but like all of the old industries in this state, we're doing everything we can to make sure we're able to compete in the 21st century. And the state of Connecticut has a lot of catching up to do there. And we're putting in place the equipment, and each and every one of our students here who getting these programs, these digital literacy skills. You've got a home here in Connecticut. You got a home here in the Connecticut state government. We really need folks like you. It makes us competitive and also gives every single kid the very best chance at the starting line of life. It's an equal opportunity employer. I'm going to make sure we get those skills, and you can stay right here. And Terence, this is a big piece of where I think our community colleges are going. You know, a 2-year community college program or 4-year college program, BA, is important for an awful lot of kids. An awful lot of folks say, I'm ready to hit the workforce. I want a job skill that lets me do it. And thanks to the Google certificate right here, no cost to you, you'll be able to get the skill set you need in 18 weeks, 6 months, whatever that program might be, and you have a job here in Connecticut. And finally, I just got to give a special thanks to, Chris and Dick. We've talked a lot about this. Chris mentioned how big a piece workforce is in the Build Back Better. I look forward to that being passed. I know how it takes an old state in terms of infrastructure and an old state in terms of job skills, bringing us into the 21st century. And I appreciate the fact that that's going to be passed, and we'll be champions. We're going to make that a reality here across the state of Connecticut. We can showcase it around the country. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Governor. Now I'd like to transition into the discussion part of our panel today. And I'd like to ask the first question to Secretary Cardona. You mentioned in your opening remarks how important it is for students to earn skills early on so they have immediate pathways into the workplace. How does the U.S. DOE promoting these opportunities for students, and what would your advice be for Connecticut and other states on how to ramp this up?
Thank you for that question. You know, a lot of it is about design, right? So as I mentioned earlier and was mentioned by others, there are funds that are going to be allocated to this, but if we don't change our design to make this part of what we're doing on a day-to-day, then it's always going to be sitting over here. And I make it analogous to mental health support for our students. If that's not part of our DNA in schools as we reopen and reimagine, then we're missing an opportunity. We would be missing an opportunity if we don't, through intentional design, identify career and college pathways earlier in our middle schools, in our high schools. I always say we have to evolve quicker. Our high schools need to be able to work with our workforce partners, with our 2-year colleges, with our 4-year colleges, to make that through line clear for a 12, 13, 14-year-old. And then folks, post-pandemic, we know there are a lot of folks that are thinking about, okay, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Right? So how do we cast a wide net? So someone who's been working in a location for one place but wants to reskill can say, I could see myself fitting into this pipeline here. It's clear enough, but we have to design it intentionally. We have to collaborate intentionally, bring partners to the table, our workforce partners. One thing that I heard, and I know about community colleges, is that they're more nimble. They're able to see what's happening in the regional workforce and create programming. So that intentional design to make sure that this is part of our everyday work. And then the last thing I'll say about that is through the American Rescue Plan, $130 billion went out to K-12 schools, $40 billion to institutions of higher education. As we're building back better, as we're reimagining education, let's not go back to the system of March 2020. Let's make sure that we're designing our agencies to have people that do this work. So for example, in the high schools, our school counselors are very busy. We need to do more to make sure we have career counselors that are connected to the workforce, that are connected to the 2-year colleges, to help our students see earlier what pathways are available to them. And I would argue in the higher education space, we need to have folks whose job is dedicated to the workforce partners. They need to have a seat at the table when develops. That I think we can do. The funding is there, the urgency is there. We know this is about economic development, community development, and livelihood for our students. So I'm really excited to see how this goes forward in Connecticut.
Thank you so much for those remarks. And we're very excited here in Connecticut to be working on building those systems across our stakeholder groups. Thank you for
Thank you.
that. Next, I would like to ask the next question to Ruth. It's clear that Google is stepping up nationally to partner with states to help train their residents in digital skills focused on IT support, data analytics, user experience design, and project management. Can you tell us more about your partnership with Connecticut and how Google is working with companies and educators to promote their career certificates at the secondary and post-secondary level?
Great question. Excited to answer it. Look, the motivator is exactly what Secretary Cardona just described. There is a massive opportunity, and if we come together now with urgency, we can make a difference in the lives of so many, and that's what inspires us. And our view is that the digital skills training is an important part of it, no question, but it's when we work across company, when the public sector is working with the private sector, when we're working with academia, when we're working with not-for-profits, that's how we can really drive this with urgency. It's about removing the barriers to employment. And Connecticut is a great example of a state that is doing this. What to us is so exciting is when you look at first, as Governor Lamont said, the talent here, Connecticut employers are eager to hire new tech talent. I mentioned that Emphasis is part of our consortium. They've already committed to hire 250 people who come with the training that comes with the Grow with Google certificate. And that's just the beginning. And we're really excited to see these pathways to rewarding jobs. The second part that you've already heard about is the Governor's Office of Workforce Strategy. I think it's so critical to enlist the support, the work, the skills, the insight, the reach of not-for-profits like Merit America in Europe, with whom we've worked. They reach into so many organizations and communities, and that's key. And then Connecticut's the first state to look at all of the 4 Google certificates as a way to really create opportunities. So we're really excited to see what can be done. We want to see this rolling out across the US because we think it does create such opportunity. We just launched a partnership in California with the Anaheim Public School District. Looking forward to doing more. I just want to pick up on one last thing that Secretary Cardona said. What strikes me whenever I meet someone who goes through digital skills training is it's not just about the content, but as you said, the confidence that you've got a vibrant career ahead of you. And it is that combination, I'm so excited to hear from students going through the programs, that to us is what makes this really exciting. And when you bring all the components together, public, private, academia, and not-for-profits, we can get this done.
Much, Ruth, for those comments, and we 100% agree with you and looking forward to digging in on this work. The next question will go to President Chang. Under your leadership, Connecticut state colleges and universities had focused on standing up new innovative curriculum that is directly aligned to the needs of employers and don't require a 2 or 4 year timeline. How do you envision CSCU playing a major role in the types of workforce development efforts moving forward?
Thank you for that, Kelly. So as I'm listening to our esteemed speakers, a couple of the themes or motifs that I keep feeling and hearing are opportunity and evolution and change. And I think it's incumbent upon us in higher education with a responsibility to so many of our constituents and to our industries and to our communities to really embrace that and to try to evolve and to adapt as much as possible for the benefits of all parties. From a position where we are looking at the value of public higher education, I will say publicly and privately, I believe very much in what we do in the classroom. The traditional humanities and liberal arts sensibilities and that ethos is so key. It's so important to creating a community across the country that really understands what it means to be a good person and a good contributor. That said, we also have to adapt to the times. Right? We have to understand that things have changed. So we believe very much in applying that kind of classic or traditional ethos to a 21st century value proposition, one where the work within the classroom should dovetail directly into the needs in the boardroom, so to speak, so that they can ultimately be trained and to learn in a way that synergizes their academic training with what they will be experiencing as professionals in their fields. So ultimately, these types of opportunities, offering the suite of Google certificates, I see that as a pillar for our value proposition in the 21st century. We will continue to bolster and evolve in what we offer in our 2 and 4 year and master's degrees and so forth. But at the same time, another equally important pillar that will help us to evolve in the access, the equity, and ultimately the power that we create for our students That's going to be industry recognized credentials that are based on outcomes and performance that will allow us to be more nimble and to be able to serve as many people as possible. So we couldn't be more thrilled and more excited for what the future holds for us.
Thank you very much for that commitment. It's greatly appreciated. Now I'd like to get some perspective from three very distinguished students who have joined us here today. I'd like to introduce you to David Tran, a graduate from UConn Stanford, who within the first 5 weeks of completing his Google certificate in mid-September, scheduled 5 interviews, 3 of which he's just finished. I'd also like to introduce Stephanie Ramos Boza. She's a current high school student at Wilcox Technical High School and is taking the IT certification. And also Ahmad Salam, a STAR student from the STEAM Mobile Application Development Camp that was run at Middlesex Community College and now works at Apple. So David, I'm going to give the first question to you. How do you see a certificate like Google helping you achieve your career goals? Based on your experience, what advice would you give someone else who is looking to move into a new career?
Yep. Thank you, Kelly. That's an excellent question. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to everybody to coming here. So a little bit of background about myself. I am a graduate. I recently graduated back in May of this year, where I received my bachelor's degree in computer science. With the last 2 years of my being as a student, I had this internship where I was working as a software developer. And that's where I was really introduced to project management. And so I see this certificate program as a great way to help others change their career paths. With me, when I graduated and started first applying, I wasn't getting enough interview opportunities as I had hoped. And actually completed the certificate course a few weeks ago. And just this week alone, I was able to receive a lot of interview opportunities. And it really helped me overcome my imposter syndrome with that, and also solidify my knowledge and being able to work with real hands-on tools that are used professionally in the professional workspace. And so I really, oh man, I'm sorry. This is my first time doing something like this. Yeah, so this career certificate really helps those and others to pursue their passion. And my best advice is to really go for it. I switched from software development over to project management, and I'm really passionate about project management. And to those who are really passionate about any making a career change, I just say go for it. That's my best advice.
Thank you, David, so much. Greatly appreciate that. And best of luck to you. I'm sure that you're going to get the best job offer very soon.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to hearing more. Next, I'd like to ask Stephanie a question. We're very excited that you are able to join us today and are really interested in hearing your stories. What made you interested in the IT sector and taking Google IT Support Certificate? And what are you learning from the program?
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Stephanie Ramos. I am a junior at Wilcox Technical High School in the IT trade. My parents came here from Puerto Rico to better their future and to open more opportunities for me and my sister with education and workforce. I was interested in taking the IT certificate from Google because ever since I was very young, I've had a passion for tech and felt this trade would further my fundamental knowledge on IT support and could open many doors for the workforce. In this course, I've learned about the history of computers, how they came to be what they are today. I've learned about computer components, how they work and how they operate in the computer. I've learned about binary code, how computers use binary to communicate with other computers, and how to read binary. I've learned about operating systems, the different types of operating systems, and how they all work. And I've learned about networking. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Buen trabajo.
That's really comprehensive and exciting to hear the opportunities that you have at Wilcox Technical High School, and looking forward to hearing more about your future successes. Next, I'd like to ask the next question to Ahmad. Ahmad, as someone who has worked to inspire others to pursue careers in technology, can you talk about how the career certificates can help prepare others in the next generation of tech students to enter the workforce?
Hey, Kelly, I just want to thank you for that question. It's a really great question, actually. And I also want to thank everyone here today for allowing me to speak and share my experience with you. So I have in the past worked very closely in the community with through programs like STEAM Train with younger children, specifically minority children, to help them and inspire them to pursue jobs in the IT field. Now, I was first introduced to the Google IT certificate program actually through my dad. And through there, the more courses I completed within that program, the more I completely fell in love with it. Like, it's a really, really great course. And by doing the course, me personally, I've been in love with anything technology since the age of 8. So like coming from that background and seeing the hands-on projects that the course gave me was awesome. And not only the hands-on projects, but also like the peers, like there's a peer-to-peer portion of the course as well that allowed me to connect with people from around the world. So anything questions I had or anything problems that I might have been going through, I was able to share those experiences and get through them with other people as well. I'm so excited for it to be introduced into the Middlesex Community College curriculum, as well as the other technical high school curriculums in Connecticut as well. Like, this is an amazing, groundbreaking, revolutionary project. I'm so glad you're implementing it so I can complete the course, and not just me, but my peers can complete the course as well and gain the skills and experiences that are really necessary to get a job in today's workforce. And not only get a job in today's workforce, but to excel and succeed in that job as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ahmad, and thank you for your excitement and for giving back to those who are younger than you, and your excitement is infectious. I want to thank our 3 distinguished students for sharing your stories. Your stories are really why we're all here today doing what we're doing, and we greatly appreciate your work and dedication to your futures. Thank you. I'd like to now take this opportunity to turn it back over to our governor to get his general remarks from our discussion today and to talk about how we can really sustain this effort moving forward.
I was struck by David saying, you're trying to choose between each of 5 different job offers. We all graduate. I don't quite remember it that way. This is an amazingly unique time where we have tens of thousands of jobs we have a hard time filling right now, tens of thousands of jobs in this state where people aren't trained for the job. I think that example tells you that with the right training, the world is your oyster right now. It's an extraordinary time to be a young person thinking about how they go and embark on a career. I'd say with the Google certificate program, another amazing advantage of it is it can be, it's not necessarily a 4-year commitment to do this, but also gives you a lot of flexibility. You may say, boy, I really am interested in financial services. You may find later on, I want to move into the environment. You will find that these IT skills allow you to choose a career path and change a career path as time goes on. And I think this is, I just say to all other young people thinking about this, come to Middlesex, come to any of our amazing community colleges, think about a program like this, think about what an advantage it gives to each and every one of you. And Kelly, you know, you're leading our workforce effort. From a point of view of a governor, I can tell you every single business that thinks about Connecticut, asks about Connecticut, the very first and very last question they always ask is workforce. They want to know the quality of the workforce, the diversity of the workforce, the training of the workforce, opportunity, making sure we have young people ready to go, folks with middle skills, middle age, ready to change skills. and it's working. I mean, for the first time in, decades, we have 3 years in a row with thousands of young people moving to the state of Connecticut. 3 years in a row. And what that means, where smart people are coming to the state, where smart young people are trained in these skills they are, jobs are soon to follow. And that's a virtuous cycle that we've got to keep going. And to our, I just want to say, thanks for being representatives of what this skill set means, what you're able to do. And I think you're making an amazing career choice, telling this story to each and every one of your peers.
Thank you so much, Governor, for those remarks, and thank you for your continued commitment to this very important topic on workforce. And we're really showing our strengths here in Connecticut with the work that we're doing, and are really proud to be leading the nation in these efforts and building out these systematic approaches to really ensuring that our students and job seekers have amazing opportunities to engage in careers in the future. And so at this time, I would like to conclude our discussion here today, and we'll be asking our student panelists and our guests here today to the room and move to the next segment of our program in the meet and greet, which will be in Founders Hall. So if you go down the stairs here, Founders Hall is directly across the street. There will be people guiding you and arrows also to direct you to the next segment. And thank you very much for everybody being here today. Greatly appreciate it.